One of the most commonly asked questions relating to CPCU 540 is whether or not it's worth buying a financial calculator. In this video, we'll go over our take on the pros and cons of using one, and we'll provide some extra tips if you decide that is the route you want to go. The main purpose of getting a financial calculator is to use it on the problems that relate to the time value of money. In a nutshell, that concept says that any money you get today is technically going to be worth more in the future because that balance will have time to earn interest between now and then. To calculate how much your money has grown, you can either use a financial calculator, which you'll have to bring yourself to the exam, or you can use the provided formulas and tables that will be given to you during the test. So, which option is better? It depends on your personal preferences, but here are some considerations you might think about when deciding between the two. One consideration is cost. A financial calculator isn't that expensive. It's probably about $30 to $40 if you buy it brand new, but the tables and formulas are free, so if you go that route, you don't have to pay anything extra. To save money on the calculator, you might want to think about getting a used one or just borrowing it from someone if you know someone who can lend it to you. But regardless, most people find that they don't have a need for the special functions on the financial calculator once the exam is over. So no matter how you get it, you probably won't need it again. It's important to note that you won't be able to rely on your smartphone, so don't plan on that. If you want to go with a financial calculator, you need to actually find and bring a separate one rather than trying to download an app onto your phone, because you can't take your phone into the testing area. Another thing to think about is the difficulty level, as in which one's easier to learn. Some people like the idea of just plugging in numbers and letting the calculator do the math, but a financial calculator is more complicated than a regular one, and you do need to learn how to properly input the information, otherwise you'll get error messages or the wrong answer. Other students find that the tables are a lot more intuitive and thus easier and faster to learn. The thing with the tables, though, is that it does require a tiny bit of manual calculation, which does make some students nervous, either because they're not comfortable doing that kind of math, or they're worried it'll cost them too much time on the exam. Because the right option really depends on you, our course comes with different sets of lessons for both methods. That way you can compare and see which one's right for you. Keep in mind that our lessons are organized a little bit differently for each of them, so you should watch all of the videos for the option you decide to go with, rather than mixing and matching lessons from the different sets. For our financial calculator lessons, we provide tutorials for two of the most popular financial calculator brands, the HP 10B2 or the TI BA2 Plus. If you decide to go with a different brand, be sure to look online for tutorials that are specific to that make and model so that you can learn the exact proper button sequence to enter the information. If you figure that the calculator is the right option for you, we do have a couple extra tips we think you should follow to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible with your calculator experience. Our very first tip is to practice, practice, practice. Technically, this tip also applies to using the tables, but we cannot emphasize enough the importance of practicing over and over until you are 100% comfortable using your particular calculator. Waiting until the day of the test to try it out is a super bad idea. Again, you want to look online for tutorials that are specific to your calculator brand and model, and then do as many practice problems as you can. Our IEG study materials come with an entire packet of all the variations of time, money, value problems you may encounter, so it's perfect for helping you master either the calculator or the tables. Another calculator tip is to get in the habit of clearing the memory every time you start a new problem. The easiest way to get the wrong answer is to not do that, because then the calculator may base its answer on variables you entered for a prior problem. So make sure you make it a habit to clear it out every single time. Finally, make sure you double check your battery situation. If your calculator is not solar powered, be sure to put in fresh batteries and bring an extra set with you just in case. You don't want to find out in the middle of your exam that your calculator died for a reason that was totally preventable. Regardless of which method you decide to go with, our IEG study materials includes tons of content and a bunch of practice problems that will show you step by step how to solve the many variations of word problems you may encounter. Be sure to utilize all the resources we offer so that you can tackle these particular questions with confidence.